Hey guys, it's Mr. Schmidt here, and in this video we're going to start our journey into economics by looking at the idea of a resource. So a resource is anything used to produce a good, a physical object, so like a house or a car, or a service, an action or activity. Now what I've done here is and I'll do this in every video, I'm going to highlight vocabulary terms in red, bolded, and underlined so you clearly see what those are. And we've already got 1, 2, 3 different vocabulary terms here. There's a lot of vocabulary in economics, and so it's important for you to master this vocabulary, whether that's through a Quizlet or your own handmade flashcards or however you want to do it. But knowing the vocabulary is going to be critical for you to be successful in this course. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. Now, there are another 2 ways of saying a resource. We can call resources inputs, or we can call them factors of production. In economics, we like to use a lot of different terms to mean the exact same thing. So just get used to me saying, hey, resource, or maybe I say input, factor, production, or even just the word factor. Sometimes instead of factor production, they just call it factor and they just use that part. So again, knowing the terminology is going to be very important here. There are 5 different types of resources that can be used to make goods and services. And so we're going to wrap up this video here by talking about each of those types very quickly. So the first one is land. Those are natural resources. So things like water, trees, air, solar energy. Anything that comes from nature is going to be what we call a land resource. And then we've got labor. That's the effort of workers. And notice here I say the word effort. It's not the workers themselves per se. It's the mental, physical exertion, their action, what they're doing, that we get the word labor, okay? And so we'll have more to say about labor later in the course because it is something that's going to be very important for constructing goods and services. And then we've got physical capital, or sometimes you'll just see it called capital by itself, and those are man-made tools. So yes, things like hammers, but also things like robots, as an example. So anything that a human being is making that in turn is being used to make goods or services, that's what we call physical capital or just capital. And I would say out of the 5 of these, this is the one students tend to trip up on the most. So make sure we understand here, it's anything man-made that gets used to make goods or services, right? That last part's important, okay? A hamburger is not physical capital, okay? Because it's not being used. Even though a human being makes a hamburger, that hamburger isn't being used to make a good or service necessarily, okay? So man-made tools. Then we've got human capital, and that's knowledge and skill. So, things like, hey, 2 plus 2 is 4. I know that. That is, this is like a 9, sorry. That would be the example of knowledge, right? Or a skill, knowing how to ride a bike. Anything here that human beings know in their heads or they know how to do, that is what we call human capital. And, going to school and getting education, the purpose of that, guys, is to acquire more human capital so you can go out into the workforce and be productive. And by productive, we mean making goods and services. And then the last one here is entrepreneurship. And so this is the organization of resources for the production of goods and services. So if you've seen the show Shark Tank, you know what I'm talking about here. You have people coming in front of these billionaires who have all this money, and these people are asking the sharks to invest in their companies so that they can grow them. Those people asking for the money, and the sharks themselves, frankly, are what we call entrepreneurs. They know how to take land, labor, physical capital, human capital, and put it all together to make goods and services. And without them, we would not have the businesses that we have today. So that's all for this video on resources. Until next time, have a great day.